In this lecture, I would like to talk about assessing intrinsic suitability for land use. Intrinsic suitability raises the principal question for discussion of, based upon intrinsic characteristics of the land, what are its inherent suitabilities for supporting various types of land use? And then secondly, what use or uses make the most sense given these land characteristics? So essentially, we're talking about what is the capability of the landscape to support different kinds of uses, and uh, which of those that are capable is most suitable for this particular landscape. We will address suitability in the context of biophysical suitability, relating principally to soil characteristics. Spend a fair amount of time talking about some characteristics of soils that we talked about earlier and asking the question, what does that mean in terms of suitability of the landscape for different kinds of uses? Well, then we'll talk briefly about solar access suitability. The exercise that you're going to do will have you basically map solar access in the landscape of the study area to identify those areas that have highest development potential based upon potential for generating warm slopes. And then finally, look at infrastructure access suitability. Where is it that we have the highest level of infrastructure as a basis for defining future suitability of the landscape? In terms of talking about soil formation factors that affect definitions of land use suitability, we'll talk principally about organisms, topography, and geologic parent material. As I indicated previously, those are the three most pertinent characteristics of soils in Minnesota. While time and climate affect soil evolution over time, in Minnesota we haven't had any time, only really 20,000 years for the most part of Minnesota, and the climate is all the same, cold. For illustrative purposes, we'll focus our initial discussion on how these factors affect suitability for agricultural land uses, and then subsequently we'll apply the same logic to evaluation of urban and other uses in landscape.